What if I told you out of the gate, very beginning of this video, that Titanfall 3 is definitely coming? How would you react? Would you be skeptical? Would you say this is clickbait? Would you say, tell me more, Jimmy? Well, that's what this video is about. Welcome to the page, everybody. Chaos here, and every few months or so, rumors of a third Titanfall game start circulating the internet. While most of the time it's wishful thinking, this is actually the first time I actually start to believe it. Now, there were some recent developments with Respawn Entertainment that actually made me think Titanfall is coming back, and since Apex Legends is topping the charts week after week, it seems like a good time. That's what we're going to go over today, the good time. The Titanfall 3 recent developments regarding Respawn Entertainment, EA, and their secret plan to revive this criminally underrated franchise. So you let me know in the comments, what would you think about a Titanfall 3 announcement at E3 this year? Drop a like, stick around for the entire video because we have a lot to unpack. But before we unpack, we have to recap. Titanfall 1 and 2. Both amazing games, but unfortunately underperformed financially due to a number of issues that were completely out of the developers' hands. The first game was sold for full price, without a single player campaign, and locked for the Xbox and the PC, meaning PlayStation gamers didn't get a chance to support. They didn't get a chance to drop in as a Titan, which was a massive issue because this game was tailor-made for Call of Duty fans, and most COD fans at this point were on the PS4. I still remember to this day going to the Titanfall early look event. We got all kinds of cool stuff we dropped in. It was crazy, and it was a bunch of Call of Duty influencers that went to it. Titanfall 2 fixed all the first game's issues, launched on the PlayStation 4 as well as the Xbox and the PC, but for some reason, EA thought it would be a brilliant idea to release it in the week in between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Needless to say, Titanfall 2 dramatically underperformed, selling just 4 million copies compared to 15 million for Battlefield and roughly 14 million for Infinite Warfare. Now, the ultimate tragedy was the fact that Titanfall 2 was one of the best reviewed games of the entire year, yet its horrible release window doomed it to the bargain bin and caused EA to completely scrap the franchise. If you go back and play it right now, you're going to be like, this game was better than Infinite Warfare, and it was better than Battlefield 1. Respawn Entertainment have stated multiple times over the years they love Titanfall, they love that universe, they want to be part of it, but as long as EA refuses to sign off on the funding for the third game, there's no shot for Titanfall 3 to ever happen. Now we talk about the wild card. Apex Legends. Free-to-play Battle Royale spinoff, launched in early 2019, secret launch have you, and since has become bigger than all the competition. Apex regularly tops Call of Duty in player counts on both console and PC, and as of the recording of this video, it's stomping Warzone on Steam charts. Now, Apex is completely distinct from Titanfall, but it takes place in the same universe, has a lot of the same weapons and mechanics, so it's a good way for Respawn to keep the IP alive, which they're doing without explicitly tying the two games together. You'd think that EA would try to capitalize on this newfound popularity for the Titanfall universe, but as of right now, they're not doing anything. Maybe. Actually, maybe that's not entirely true. Earlier this year, it was revealed by industry insiders that the planned single-player Apex Legends spin-off game has been quietly canceled. It was also officially confirmed that the mobile version of Apex Legends shut down. Initially, people thought this meant Respawn Entertainment was in some kind of trouble, but some other people, myself included, presented the theory that Respawn was actually just shifting priorities in order to work on something major, right alongside Apex Legends. Now, Respawn is currently finishing up work on Star Wars Jedi Survivor, while also working on at least 2 other Star Wars games, 1 FPS and 1 strategy game, and that's in addition to working on the biggest Battle Royale on the market right now. So it's safe to say they have their hands full. Some people theorize that the cancellation of the Apex single-player game and the shutdown of Apex Mobile were so they could put more hands on Titanfall 3, although most of the internet disagreed with this theory. But just the other day, it was announced that Respawn was opening a brand new studio specifically to support Apex Legends, which means Respawn now has 3 studios, and 2 of them will not be working on their biggest property. Sounds a little suspicious to me. Not too long ago, Respawn was also hiring a ton of new people to work on the Star Wars FPS, which I'm really excited about, suggesting that it's still rather early into development. So let's take a look at Respawn's workload right now. They have 1 studio working on Apex. Then they have 2 other studios working on other projects. Right now, the only confirmed Respawn projects are the 2 in development Star Wars games. I guess you could say Jedi Survivor's in the works, but since the game is coming out in just a few weeks, I think it's safe to say that game's a wrap. This means we have 2 entire studios dedicated to 2 games? I don't know everything about the inner workings of Respawn or AAA game development, but that doesn't sound right to me. From the sounds of it, it seems like there's at least one other Respawn project in development that we don't know about. When you look at the situation that EA is in regarding their other multiplayer shooters, Titanfall 3 seems more and more realistic. Now, you may want to dismiss everything I'm saying in this video as pure speculation. I admit that to some degree that it is. But one thing can't be denied. EA needs a premium shooter. Let me ask you a question. Does the timing of all this seem fishy to you? Think about it. Battlefront dies, and then Battlefield dies, and then all of a sudden Respawn Entertainment starts drastically restructuring everything they do. Do you think that's coincidence? Over the last few years, EA has lost both of its premium multiplayer shooter franchises, while Activision is making hundreds of millions of dollars a year off Call of Duty sales and another few billion off of microtransactions. No matter what you think about the state of modern COD, there's no denying that there's a market for premium multiplayer shooters, and that's not going away. EA needs a game to compete with Call of Duty, and now that Battlefield is in the toilet, they need something new. Apex Legends is a solid start, but the market for free-to-play BRs isn't nearly the same as the market for a solid, grindy, progression-based shooter like Call of Duty or what Battlefield and Battlefront used to be. EA needs their own full-price shooter with a long-term multiplayer, single-player campaign, and some kind of co-op experience, just like the competition. And now that Battlefield and Battlefront are gone, what stops them from pulling back the curtain and reviving Titanfall? Apex Legends is by far EA's biggest moneymaker right now outside of the sports games, and when it comes to multiplayer shooters, it's all they've got. It's good, but it's all they've got. EA may not have wanted to continue the Titanfall franchise after the second game flopped back in 2016, but at this point, do they have a choice? We know Battlefield is going to come back eventually, but right now it's dead in the water on the bench. Whatever Battlefield game comes out next is going to be put under the most intense scrutiny and microscope that you can have, meaning there won't be much hype surrounding it. Battlefield isn't the guaranteed slam dunk it used to be. Not after BF5 and BF 2042, but Titanfall 3? Whew, that game would be huge. Just look on YouTube at the speculation videos like this one. Not only is there a giant community of players who want nothing more to play than Titanfall 3, but there's also the massive marketing machine that is Apex Legends, which could get a few million people to buy Titanfall 3 day one without even having to experience the previous two games. And what if you connected the two? Think about it. If EA announces Titanfall 3, then they market it with Apex, the way Warzone is marketed with each new Call of Duty game, I'm betting that would guarantee at least 10 million copies sold, which would make it the most successful game in the franchise by a landslide. The question at that point would be whether or not there would be some kind of sync progression between the two games like Warzone has with COD. Honestly, I think it would be in both games' best interest to not do that. Apex doesn't need any help. They don't have any kind of weapon leveling system, so it would be a little silly to incorporate some kind of synced leveling to connect it with Titanfall 3, which presumably would have a traditional progression-based multiplayer, weapon levels, attachments, stuff like that. People also just seem to generally be tired of full-price games advertising other games within them, and since EA has already had a bit of a bad reputation with gamers, it would probably be a good idea to avoid that with Titanfall 3 and Apex. I mean, what's wrong with just having two distinct games set in the universe? I'll tell you what's wrong. Absolutely nothing. With EA being in desperate need of a premium shooter and Respawn Entertainment suddenly restructuring, I think the writing's on the wall. Titanfall 3 could be back on the table. The first two games may have been sales disappointments, but now that Apex has completely taken over the gaming world and EA has burnt through their other premium shooters, yeah, even if we're not being cynical about it, Titanfall 3 just seems like a good idea right now. It does. In the mid-2010s, the gaming community was tired of every multiplayer shooter being sci-fi and futuristic, but now things have come full circle, and the desire for sci-fi shooters is back. Call of Duty's been grounded since 2017. Battlefield hasn't done anything even remotely futuristic in decades, and the Respawn Star Wars FPS, it's a few years away. Titanfall 3 could come out tomorrow, easily dominate the sales charts. It could. I would love to visit the universe again and see where the story of the second game was headed, and I would absolutely grind the multiplayer if it was even half as good as the previous ones. Titanfall was a unique experience. It would seriously stand out among the crowd today while scratching the same itch as Battlefield and Call of Duty. Now, personally, I'm convinced Titanfall 3 is in development, and if it's not, it's just a gigantic swing and a miss. It is. It's a missed opportunity. What do you guys think? Would you play a third Titanfall game? Would you buy it? Would you pre-order it? Would you put your time and money into it? Do you think EA has noticed just how good of an idea this is? You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if anything else new breaks or we get any just little crumb that we can attach to for Titanfall 3, I will let you guys know. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon.